Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Katerina, Great Wine Adventures. But this is Digital Vino, or it's some special Digital Vino for a Saturday evening here and morning in California. So my guests are Bryan and Courtney Kramer, or Smith Kramer. I'm very happy to have you on. And that
Thank you
we're
for
actually
having
going
us.
to take wine. So welcome. And we also have Lorenzo from Montefioralle, who is providing the wines for today that we're going to taste. And, we're going to taste wine and speak a bit about the importance of digital marketing for wineries. We're going to do it in English, so for the Italian winemaker who doesn't understand English, you just have to ask me afterwards, or if I do subtitles with Italian afterwards. So welcome.
Everyone can understand English now. So.
Yes. So welcome, Courtney and Bryan. Do you want to, for those in Italy who doesn't know you, do you want to present yourself?
I think there's a lot of people in Italy who don't know us. I'm Courtney Smith Kramer. I am a digital marketer myself, outsourced CMO. I'm an author of a book called Be Your Creative Sexy Self. And this is Bryan Kramer, who needs no introduction, of course.
Oh, no. I work for her. And I'm also an author of HH, Human to Human, as well as Shareology. And I'm an executive coach of coaches and consultants, and also TED and keynote speaker.
Okay, great. So,
and we left out lovers of delicious wine.
That's what brings us together here. So I follow or get help from, I follow their groups, their coaching groups, or what they're supposed to be called, since a couple of years. And I actually met Bryan and Courtney in Rimini for the first time some years ago, thanks to a common friend who's told me to go there. So I'm very happy to have you here. And Lorenzo, do you want to present yourself? I think most people in Italy know who you are now. But still.
Yes, I'm Lorenzo. I work with my family in a winery that's in Montefioralle. Montefioralle is in the Chianti region, so we produce Chianti Classico in Tuscany, Italy, of course. And we have a small winery. And it's a family-run winery. I work with my father, my sister, and my wife, and we produce about 1,000 of cases per year. So it's a very small production, and this is actually a side business for me because I have also a digital marketing agency in Florence, and I work there. So it's easy for me to combine wine and digital activities in general.
True. So I probably should tell you all that I asked Courtney and Bryan to come on here to talk about their experience in digital marketing, in social media, in everything that has to do with marketing. And of course they wanted to taste wine, so I asked Lorenzo, and Lorenzo is actually a client of mine. So I helped him with content and a bit of social media, and I also helped him with some live streams that we did together. So I just wanted to make this clear in the beginning that he's actually my client, or I work for him. So it's not that I kind of generally do this thing.
Well, we are friends before.
We're friends.
Before then, you became a client. But
yes.
That's usually
the beginning. We were friends.
We're mainly friends, and then I help him with some things. So we're not really kind of seriously kind of marked clients. It's more like when he needs something, I help him. So should we start tasting a bit?
Yes. So I want to make a really cool point that I think is really important to make, which is, digital marketing and wineries, at least here in California. We live in Northern California, so very close to wine country up in Napa and Sonoma. And we have quite a few wineries here in the Santa Clara or Santa Cruz Mountains. And typically, in our we own a digital agency together, and in the past have pitched wineries to do some digital marketing. And in our experience, at least here in Northern California, there was some kind of a disconnect about, oh, we don't have to do digital marketing. We do traditional marketing. We're going to just market in the wine magazines, and we're going to build an email list and try to, sell our wine club. And that's the extent of anything. So I think that the fact that wineries it sounds like waking up to the fact that, yes, you do have to do digital marketing. And now we are in a pandemic and not able to travel. And so digitally savvy wineries, I think, are going to really move ahead more quickly because you already had the mindset and the infrastructure to make that happen. So the fact that we're doing this on a live stream from Italy to California with the same wine and are able to share an experience that will be, very similar but in different places, I think is really cool.
No, I think the same. I mean, I think that the problem, except for Lorenzo and Montefioralle, who obviously worked with this on their own. So, they know the value, but I think there's really a lot of wineries here too. Probably the majority of the wineries in Italy hasn't really understood.
A lot of winery doesn't care to digital marketing. A lot of them, they didn't know what it means. Because their job is another. They produce wine. Maybe they are very good to make a good wine, but they don't know. They don't care about this kind of opportunity. And for me, I think it's very important, especially now in a period where people can travel. Our main market is US, because we sell the wine usually in direct sell. People that come to visit us in Montefioralle, they usually taste the wine and buy some wine. In Chianti, there are a lot of Americans since many years. From April to October, there are a lot of American visitors. So they are the main visitor. So our market is mainly into the US. This is the future. And now this year we weren't able to receive people. Starting at the beginning, no one. Then we started to have some Italian or European, but we also wanted to stay in contact with our customers in the US. So we provide for a lot of digital activities, and the most important was the virtual wine tasting. It worked this way. We shipped a testing pack with 6 bottles, and including a bottle of olive oil to people. We send also some recipe to prepare some food to pair with the wine. And we invite the people for private Zoom meeting with no more than 30 persons together. And we, with a mobile camera, we provide for a virtual tour of the winery. And then with another camera, we provide for a wine tasting together at the table. And we wanted also to have a lot of interaction with the people, so people were able to make questions. We were able to reply, so it was very, very nice.
I bet. Well, I want to taste some of this wine. This is the Chianti Classico.
Yeah.
Looks like 2018. We already
Yes.
have our glasses poured. So tell us a little bit about this wine, what went into making it, and what can we expect? Yeah.
Yes, this wine is our regular production, so it's the entry-level wine of our winery, and is a wine that is made with a very traditional blend of Tuscany, Sangiovese, the Greek varieties, over 90%. The rest is Canaiolo and Colorino, so other two local varieties from the Chianti region. And is a wine that is a 2018 because we need 2 years before bottling. We ferment this wine in cement vats. Then we keep the wine for some year in steel tanks. And then we moved for 1 year in oak barrels. Then we move again in steel tanks and we bottle. So there's a wine that needs 2 years to arrive. And there is a very typical Chianti Classico. And it's important to say that Chianti Classico with a black rooster, that is the logo on the neck of the bottle, is the wine that is produced inside the Chianti region in Tuscany. Because there are two different denominations. Chianti without the black rooster and without the word Classico, and Chianti Classico with the black rooster. Chianti is made outside the Chianti region. This is crazy, but it was a very big mistake made almost 100 of years ago by the government that decided to expand the Chianti outside the Chianti. So now the only wine produced in Chianti is Chianti Classico. Chianti is produced outside the Chianti region, the rest of Tuscany. And
So
generally...
So we won't ever see a Chianti Classico without a black rooster.
Yes, it is the easiest way to recognize Chianti Classico, the black rooster.
Wow, I learned something. Okay, so let me see. I love wine. It's my bucket list dream to be a sommelier someday. So let me see if I got a little bit of this right from the nose. Lots of red berry fruit. I smelled cherry.
Yeah, cherry. Yes, of course.
A little bit of strawberry. Vanilla. Does the vanilla come from the oak barrels?
No, I think our oak barrels are not new barrel. They are very used, so we don't add external flavor of the wine. It's a kind of scent. Is not maybe really vanilla. Is a kind of woody aromas, but they came from the aging, not all from the barrel. And I think there are also some floral scents in this vintage in 2018, because in fresher vintage, the maybe a violet or rose scent is typical from Sangiovese, especially in the area of Montefioralle. So as a sub-region of the Chianti Classico, Montefioralle has this kind of scent in fresh vintages.
Yeah, I'm getting like a little honeysuckle scent in there, and then so it's a little dry with low
Yes,
tannin.
totally dry.
Very low tannin.
Yes, also soft tannins are another typical thing of the wine produced in Montefioralle. So also my neighbors, usually they never produce a very hard and bad tannins. They are always very, very soft, even when they are young. This wine has been bottled only 3 months ago, so it's very young, but the tannins are not so hard. They are very soft and smooth.
It's very easy to drink.
Yeah.
So can I just cut in for a while? Because there's a lot of people following here, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. So there's Stephen Ford. I don't know him, but
we know him.
So welcome. And then there's Corlin Duncan from California. It might be your friend. I don't know.
We don't know Corlin, but
welcome.
Anyway, ciao.
And then we have also from Denmark, Lotte Neal from Denmark. So welcome. And then we also, I think we have a wine writer. Where were you? If I can find his comment now. Because I saw John Fodera. So he's from New York, and he writes mostly about Tuscan wine, I think, but also Italian. He wrote an article, I think, also about
us.
So welcome, everyone. I just wanted to give a shout out.
Sure,
so yeah, I think I also wanted to say about the tannins. I think because in some wines, the tannins when it's young can be a bit more present. Also the acidity. But I think as Lorenzo says, Montefioralle wines are generally very smooth, very pleasant.
I love smooth wines. That's my favorite.
Yeah. No one wants to drink a harsh wine.
So what kind of food pairing would you put with this?
This is perfect for pasta with meat sauce, a ragu or something, a ragu of beef, but also with wild pork ragu or other stuff.
We're having I just decided we're having pasta tonight.
Well, it's okay. This is just for me a very, very good pairing because I like meat generally, and this kind of wine with some acidity and tannins usually requires some. This is my son that is curious. Sorry for intrusion.
All good.
His life in the pandemic, by the way. We just called him.
Okay, so some fat is good with to eat because the tannins without any fat in your mouth grab your tongue, your palate, and seems hard. If you have a layer of fat in your mouth, maybe animal fat like meat, but also vegetable if you want to just a slice of bread with some extra virgin olive oil. The tannins grab your fat and clean your mouth. So you have this very nice sensation in your mouth. So this is important to have some fat food to drink with this wine.
Wow. How much?
Well, I think also like cold cuts and stuff like that is also okay. Like
we have some. You can't see it; it's off camera, but we have some Gouda cheese, or for our friend, our Gouda cheese, and then we have some crackers.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Cheese is fat, so generally it's okay. I recommend not too much aged cheese because for a very aged cheese, I prefer total different wines, sparkling wines with Parmigiano, for example. But with a medium aged Pecorino, is okay. It's a very good pairing also.
I think we have some Dubliner cheese here too, which is Irish cheese, but it's very close to Parmesan.
Okay. Well,
yeah. And it goes really well with this.
And another.
Do you make a year? What is the what's the amount that you make? The quantity.
Quante bottiglie fai?
The quantity. 12,000 bottles per year of all the wine.
Ma questo vino
yeah, for this wine we produce about of the regular Chianti Classico in good vintages 9,000 of bottles per year in very good vintages. 8, 9, but sometimes less. times 3,000-4,000. Anyway, if you scan the QR code on the back label, you'll be able to see the technical set of the wine. So you can also see the right quantity of this wine. I can check.
You can tell you that you're a digital marketer because you put a QR code on the back of your label, which is super smart.
That is important because you can get more information if you don't remember. For this year, 9,000 of bottles per year. And the most important thing you can find if you scan the QR code, or just if you simply surf on our website, you choose the typology, Chianti Classico, and the year 2018, you can see the maturation curve of the wine. So it's a way to explain to our customer when is the best moment to drink the wine.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, because during the lockdown here in Italy, I saw some customers that used to share them with us some dinner with a very old vintages, maybe not for a Riserva, just the regular, and they waited to March to open. So during the lockdown here in Italy, I decided to set a maturation curve of all of the wine we have since 10 years ago, and to explain what is the best moment to drink the wine.
That's really that's a detail that a lot of wineries miss. That is so appreciated for the wine drinker, because you don't know. Like the average drinker doesn't know.
But I think also, like, I mean, Lorenzo is, as we know, good at it, but I think it's also, I mean, I see that it helps a lot as I manage his Twitter account, because there's a lot of questions also there. And I see that, I mean, people like to, of course, to be able to learn things when they go to his website. So he also put up a blog when that I sometimes help with. So I mean, I think all these things are good, because people want to know more things, and the more they know, the more they're curious, the more they go to the website.
Well, and that's the beauty about wine, is it's the whole experience. It's the story behind it. It's the love
exactly.
into it. It's the sharing with friends. It's the pairing with food. It's the whole collective experience that makes wine so special. So sharing more of that with your clients is an important detail that's going to keep them coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very hard. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
It's okay. You go first. I'll go second.
Okay. So posting in a blog is a very is another work. So you have to make your wine. You have to work in the vineyard, in the cellar, and posting a wine blog is other stuff to do, but it's important. We don't post so often, but we try to make a very specific and important post to explain better our wine to people, and we found that our customers are very interested when we write a new post, and we send maybe the newsletter, we make an update on the social media. We have a lot of visitors. We see that people stay on the page for a lot, and they also are very interested of the arguments. So it's important.
Well, and I imagine that your winery is also very beautiful. So there's probably a lot of opportunities to take some gorgeous, Instagram worthy shots.
Yes, the winery is not nothing special. It's very simple building, but we are located in a very wonderful location. We are very close to the village of Montefioralle. Montefiorale is the name of a medieval village, and we take the name for the winery. But so we are surrounded from Tuscany hills and the hamlet, historical hamlet of Montefioralle in the background. So yes, it's a very nice place, a nice landscape.
Sounds very romantic and
Yeah.
fine, especially for us Americans that can't travel to Italy right now.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But also from people that came from the rest of Tuscany. Montefiorale is one of the most beautiful village in Italy. There is an association, the most I borghi più belli d'Italia. I don't know in which is
So
the English
the most beautiful
translation.
hamlet of Italy.
Yeah,
There's a
and
association.
we are happy that this summer, the past summer, we had a lot of visitors from Tuscany, from Florence, Pistoia, Prato, from the rest of the region. People that maybe live 20 kilometers from Montefiorale and they never visited the town. So
Wow.
it's crazy. So a good thing of the COVID-19 situation was that people decide to explore and discover the region nearby, and a lot of people of Tuscany discovered Montefiorale the past summer.
Wow.
What is one of your, as a winemaker, you look back over everything that you've done to start, run, and build this business? What would you say one of the challenges was?
The main challenge now for a winemaker, I think in the Chianti region or Tuscany, I think is the global warming.
Mm.
Now we have a different way to make wine, to make grapes, because when I was a child, I remember that harvest was always in October, maybe the middle of October. Wines were 12.5% of alcohol. And now, if you see the label of our Chianti Classico Riserva is 15.
Yeah.
So we have now, with the global warming, more concentration, more sugar than more alcohol.
Oh, wow.
So we have to find a way to balance this with to preserve freshness, acidity in the wine, to balance the alcohol content.
So the one we just tasted, the Chianti Classico 2018, that has 14% alcohol.
Yeah.
This one that we just opened, this Chianti Classico Reserve, the
Yes.
Reserve, this is a 2017, has 15%. Tell us what is the difference of the 1% of alcohol?
Yeah, the Reserva is a different wine because we use the same variety Sangiovese with some Canaiolo and Colorino, but we use only the oldest vines we have. Vines that on average are 35 years old. So they have the roots very deep in the soil, and this is important for quality. In addition, on those vines, we reduce a lot the quantity of grape per plant. In the middle of July, we cut some grapes when they are still green. We call it the green harvest. So we reduce the quantity to increase the quality. Nutrients, minerals, everything is shared only in a few bunches. So we get a more concentrated grapes and then a more concentrated wine. It's a wine that stays in barrels for 2 years instead of one like the regular. But another big reason of the difference of the alcohol content was also the vintage, because the 2017 was a very different. 2018 wasn't regular. Fresh was very important because 18 was the 50 harvests of our winery. And
we live stream harvest, so I helped him to live stream parts of the harvest. It was quite fun. People liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We made a lot of things too, but the 2017 was very strange because it was hot and totally dry. We didn't had a drop of rain from May to the harvest.
Oh
wow!
So very concentrated grapes. Very we produce about the half of the regular production. If you compare the production of the regular, for example, Chianti Classico in 2017, we produce more than the half, 3,800 of bottle of the regular Chianti Classico 2017. For the 18, I said before that we produce 9,000. So
yeah, wow,
more than the double.
1/3.
The quality was better. It was good. No, it was low quantity but good quality. No.
Yes, the problem was finding a way to keep the acidity high of this wine. So we decided to make the earlier harvest. I was a little bit scared about the tannins, because if you make the harvest too early, even if you have a lot of sugar, so enough alcohol, and but the maturity of the tannins maybe is not perfect. And I'm totally happy about the results, even for the regular Chianti Classico 2017, and for Riserva. For Riserva is easier because the oldest vines can better balance a difficult vintage. So
Yeah.
the results for Riserva is always good. In bad vintages, difficult vintages, maybe you can find something that is not perfect in the regular Chianti Classico. But usually Riserva is always perfect because all the vines can better balance the.
How did your family first get started?
It was always hobby or a side business for my family, because my grandfather started to make wine when he retired. He lived in Montefioralle. My parents that were born in Montefioralle, they had moved to Florence for work. And my grandfather, when he retired, my grandfather was a carpenter, so a totally different work. He decided to take for rent the vineyard of the church of Montefioralle. The previous owner was the church, and he replanted the vineyard and started to make wine. A few years later, at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, in Italy we had the wine renaissance, because it was the moment that people started to work to make a good wine instead of a big quantity. And my father became interested about in winemaking, so he started to work with my grandfather during the weekend. My father was an electric engineer in Florence, but during the weekend, during his free time, he used to work, and he take the management of the winery. My grandfather continued to work, but my father decided to be the manager, to be more focused in quality wine. And finally, at the end, the beginning of the 90s, my father retired, so he came back to live with my mother in Montefioralle. So from that moment, my father can work in the vineyard every day, and I can help him during my free time, of course. And there is also my sister Alessia and my wife Manila that work with him. We have also an employer, a very important employer, is Vulnet, because my father is now more than 80, so he can work, make some physical work. So we have an employer that can help him.
Let's talk about this wine a little bit, because as you were explaining that great story, I finished my glass, so I had to fill it back up again because it's so good. But like you were saying, because of the higher sugar content, which makes it have a higher alcohol content, it definitely tastes a little bit sweeter, but it's thicker. You know, it's like more dimensional than the one you said before. And tell me, so one of the signatures, and I'm a novice, so you know this, right? One of the signature elements of an Italian wine is some of the barnyard smell at the nose. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is it desired? How do you get that?
It's a character of the year of the 2017. Nothing is. When you make a wine, you don't have to make a desired scent. You have to respect the grape and the vintage. Our wine are different. Every year is a different wine because of the vintage. So in this case, 2017 is more concentrated. It's very fruity forward because there are a lot of fruits, not only cherry but also blueberries and a lot. There are maybe just less floral scent that you can better feel in 2018. Also, not only because there is a regular and this is reserve, but this is because there are different vintages. So this is this one, and hot vintages like this became ready.
Però, scusa se ti interrompo, penso che ha chiesto perché lei spesso dice che sente le note di stalla tipo in vini e chiedeva se era una cosa normale.
Okay, yeah.
Note.
Yes,
sorry, I was
sorry. Katarina helped me with the translation because I not always keep. Okay, yes, there are salty, and the salinity that you can feel in this wine is typical from the Montefioralle terroir. Another thing typical, and you can better feel in this case in Reserva, because oldest vines can better give this kind of the sapidity, and this is very important for us. We are very lucky because this kind of sapidity can balance the alcohol content, the high alcohol content, the big structure. The sapidity can balance because there is an opposite thing, so can better balance the wine.
No, ma diceva,
so we are lucky.
So what I'm tasting and smelling is the mineral and the salinity content that is helping to balance in this older vine. That, you know, I heard somewhere that vines are like human beings, and that the older vines can get more temperamental and crotchety, but also like really special. You're gonna have to translate that word, Caterina. Crotchety.
Dice che ha sentito che vigne più vecchie che possono essere un po' di temperamento, essere un po' difficile, che ogni tanto insomma fanno, cioè, che dipende da anno in anno come si comportano. Chiedo se questo è vero. E poi la nota prima che chiedeva era nota di stalla, cioè nota di tipo il cuoio, stalla, da dove vengono queste note.
Sì, quella, this kind of sense came from the aging, the complexity of the grapes, the concentration of the grapes. So after the fermentation with the aging, with an
Now
extra year of aging, you can have a better complexity for this kind of wine. And all these wines, you cannot Cata, aiutami, quello volevo dire è che un viticoltore non deve addomesticare la vite e quindi fare in modo che gli dia un prodotto che vuole lui. Deve sapere interpretare quello che la vite gli dà sul territorio.
Okay, so he says about the vines, if they're temperamental, he says that a vine grower or a wine producer, his task is not to make the vine do what he wants to get the product he wants, but that the vine grower has to follow the vine and see what it can give, and in that sense make the wines that the vineyards he has are able to give. So basically the vine grower is following the nature and the vines, it's not the other way around. So he doesn't say that the vine can be temperamental, because that would mean that you would somehow want to domesticate the vine, but it's the other way around.
That's such a great point. Thank you for that. That's what makes winemakers artists.
Yeah.
because they know how to take what the earth gives them and make it into something so beautiful.
Yeah, you can take the control in the cellar. You have the grapes, and then into the cellar you can add the extra acidity, extra tannins, extra stuff. Is allowed, but you produce a very, not a real wine. You produce a food. It's not a real wine.
Yeah, because I can taste, this one has higher tannins than the one that we tasted before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giusto? Che I tannini sono più alti.
Sì, yeah, everything is concentrated in the reserva. It's okay.
Someone asked about dessert wines and desserts.
Yeah. Is this a dessert wine?
Yes, exactly. I bring it.
Let's open this, and then we'll explore the beauty of dessert wine.
Yeah. I wanted to say hello to some other people. So there's Evelyn. She's a friend from Chicago. And then Davide, which I think is a friend of Lorenzo. And then we have, I think, the guy from California, Colin. He's a client he buys Montefioralle wines. So he was asking if we would be talking desserts and dessert wines, and that we're doing now. And he says he loves Vinsanto, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. The first important things. Vinsanto must be served cold. Is technically a white wine, even if the color is not so white. So it's a wine that must be.
I'm so excited because dessert wine is his absolute favorite wine.
This is my favorite part. We just got the best part of the whole thing. Now we only had a dessert.
We have cheese, so that's technically a dessert.
But actually, this Vinsanto or holy wine, it's more because it's aged. It's better with cheese. Actually, it can also be had with, right, Lorenzo? No, with.
Yes, my favorite pairing with for Vinsanto is blue cheese. It's blue cheese because the sweetness can balance the aggressive taste of the blue cheese. So
this is
my favorite.
This is amazing. Can you tell? Okay, open up about this one. This is so good.
Okay, Vinsanto is a very traditional product of Tuscany. It's a wine that is made with usually white varieties, Trebbiano and Malvasia. And to make this wine that is passito, so we have to dry the grapes. But we don't dry the grapes like other passito under the sun or on the vine. We cut the grapes, and usually we store them in a room inside a building, and we hang up all the bunches, and we let them dry for about 3 months. In 3 months, we get almost raisins, so we have a very high concentration in sugar. We press them, and we put the juice in some barrels. Those barrels.
Uh-oh.
Now he blocked a bit.
That was the part.
Let's see if he comes back.
Okay, so while his internet is catching up to his story, this is delicious. It has notes of apricot.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I have
Yeah.
No, you continue, Courtney.
Okay, so
Lorenzo, Lascia Courtney. She was saying something.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I was explaining what I was tasting in this, which is notes of apricot, and there is some floral in there. And I want to hear from you after you're finished telling us how it's made. That I'm very curious, because this is 14.5% alcohol, which is less than the one that we just tasted, but this tastes like more of a brandy-ish taste to me anyway. And I would expect it to have very high alcohol, but it has less than the one that we just tasted. So tell us about that too, as soon as you finish your story.
Okay, so we put the juice in some barrels that we fill it only for half, and we close hermetically. We store those barrels not in the cellar, but under a roof. So we create a very difficult environment for fermentation, because the yeast started to make the fermentation. They produce carbon dioxide, so the pressure inside increase, but they need oxygen. And when they finish the oxygen, the high pressure inside can't let enter the air from the wood. So they have no more oxygen, so they stop. And the pressure decrease, so the air now can enter from the wood, so they can start again. So fermentation starts and stops several times. And very quickly in summer when it's very hot under the roof, and very slowly in winter when it's cold. After 3 years, the final result is a natural sweet wine. Natural because some sugar remains, because the yeast cannot transform all the sugar in alcohol. The color, the amber color, is given by the oxidation. As this is the typical sense, you can see also at your nose that remind you maybe some sherry or other stuff. But this is not a fortified wine. This is a natural wine, but the oxidation scent maybe remind you the rest.
Sorry, Lorenzo. So with fortified wines, for those who doesn't know, it is when you add alcohol to the winemaking process in the end.
Yeah.
While here it's all natural with the grapes fermenting and then maturing in the barrels.
This is the reason why the alcohol content is only 14.5 and not 18 or 20 like a port wine.
This is much to drink after a meal. for a dessert than a port,
Yeah.
because then you don't have to then you'll remember going home.
No, I really like their Vinsanto too. I think it's a great wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your nose, yes, apricot and dried fruits, honey, cera d'api, non so come si dice.
I don't know either. Non lo so neanche.
Okay, my bad.
It's like the bee wax, bee wax.
Yeah, like a honeycomb.
Yeah.
And
for a dessert, could you actually pour it over and use it in cooking?
Potresti usarlo a cucinare?
yeah, you can use the Vinsanto to make crostini di fegatini. It's a typical recipe in Tuscany. Fegatini is come si dice fegatino?
The chicken liver that you made into how do you say it?
Yes.
Kind of pasty.
Like a puff pastry.
You put it on roasted bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like pate.
Is a way to balance the bitter taste of the liver and use Vinsanto. You can also use for cooking. We use for cooking also. Maybe not this kind of Vinsanto. Maybe it's better to use a cheaper Vinsanto.
I kind of want to put this over my cereal in the morning.
Breakfast wine.
Breakfast wine.
Yeah, and as you can say, that seems more complex, more very full-batted, even compared with the Riserva, because there is not also the alcohol content in your mouth. There is also a lot of glycerin. There is the sugar. There are all things that you have to sum all of them, and you have a very big structure.
That's a good question that Corlin asked. How long after it's open can it stay good?
You can keep for year.
Really?
Because the wine is already oxidated, so it's a wine you can open and finish in months.
So this one
only.
The Vinsanto. Yes, only the Vinsanto.
Probably a couple days, maybe.
The other, yes, like a regular red wine is better to open a bottle and finish.
Yes, to drink it as soon as possible.
Open and drink it. Why you have to wait a couple of days? There is no reason.
Yeah, there's no reason.
I agree.
What life are you living? You open the bottle and don't finish it.
Exactly. That's alcohol abuse. Well, I have to tell you, we were supposed to be in Tuscany this past June. We were meant to go for 2 weeks and stay just outside of. We got an Airbnb that was outside of where? What's the place that's known
Florence.
for? Well, outside of Florence, but a little bit south of that. So the place that's known for the pesto.
Right near there.
What's the name of that?
That's north of Florence for the pesto.
Yeah.
What's the name of that town?
Which town is known for the pesto?
Is it?
Stump them.
I know.
Lorenzo.
This is funny because this is how it's marketed to Americans, and then the actual Italians that live there are like, "What?"
I don't know.
Anyway, we were meant to be in Tuscany, and we had with Bryan's whole family to celebrate his parents' 50th birthday, and we were hoping to come out and taste all the deliciousness that Tuscany has to offer. And so we've rescheduled for 2021 and hope to be able to do our own live stream from Montefioralle.
Exactly.
I will take you there. That's no problem.
Yes, for sure. When we can travel safely and see the world again.
We'll be honored to have you at the winery.
Excellent. Well, we're coming up on the hour, and Katerina, is there anything that you want to do to close us out?
No, I think it's been a really good hour. So I kind of let you two do the thing, as I said, because I'm just kind of a mediator. But I think it was nice to see your reactions on the wine while opening and drinking it, because I think it also kind of show. I don't know what you say, Lorenzo. It shows how it's appreciated in the moment, and also like having Lorenzo to explain his wines live. I think it's also good, because while you're tasting, you can make questions and he can explain. So I think it's very good, very interesting things that came up. And of course, it also shows that live streams are good as a tool, not only for wineries, but for other businesses too, to reach out. So I don't know, are there anything you want to add? Anything else?
I would like to reply to a question I see about the number of Vinsanto bottle of Vinsanto depends of the year, from 400 to 800 of bottle per year. Is a half liter the bottle, and thanks to my father, because I would like to reduce the size of the Vinsanto to 0.375, but my father said that Vinsanto cannot be less than half liter. So
I would agree. I think that I love both of the red wines, but you're onto something special with this one.
Yeah.
No, I think so too. It's very expensive to produce.
I'd like to go on the record again saying it's so sweet on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Yeah. Everyone run out and buy this.
How do they buy it?
Yeah, how did they get these?
We don't have any importer or distributors anywhere. So except for a few friends of the area that have a restaurant or a wine shop, and you can buy there. For the rest, the only way is or came at the winery or buy directly on our website.
So I put a link to the website in the comments. So anyone who wants to go there, you can write Lorenzo directly, or you can order directly from his website. I just only wanted to say that Cindy Castaneda is here, so I think she says hello.
Hey, Cindy.
She says that you pronounce it.
And Penny also raising her hand to sell some.
Yes, she's in Texas, I think.
That's
I
great.
know she works with selling wines too. So Cindy's,
yeah, definitely check out this red wine. It's really, really good. We're just getting into Italian wines. Obviously, being in Northern California, we're inundated with California wines first, but there's so much amazing, like, taste bud sensations that are waiting for us. So thank you, Lorenzo, for hosting, and Katerina for inviting us. And Lorenzo, you're in great hands with Katerina. She knows what she's doing, and she has such a passion for wine and helping winemakers get the word out. And so this has just been an hour well worth spending with the both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for participating at this live stream. Was always a pleasure for me to explain, to introduce our wines, me, and the philosophy, and all Montefioralle.
I can tell that it's a passion.
Mm-hmm.
That this is it's right in your heart. This isn't something that you're.
Yeah, I think that winemaking must be a passion. If you only produce wine only for business, the results is different.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for joining too. And we've enjoyed watching the comment stream, and we'll do this again anytime.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, thank you, Courtney and Bryan, for wanting to do this. I'm very happy you took time, and also to Lorenzo, who wanted to do another live stream with me. He starts getting very kind of used to it now, because I always ask him if he wants to try out new things I think of, and he's always very, very happy to do so. Thank you everyone who was joining us here and listening and making comments. Cindy, Stephen, Penny, John, I think also the client of yours from California, who say they are in Venetia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a very good live stream, and I think it was a very fun hour to spend also on a Saturday evening here and the morning for you.
Yeah.
So have a great day, and thank you again, everyone, for coming. I dropped the links both to Bryan's website for those of you who want to read more about him, to Montefioralle, and also to my newsletter for anyone who wants to sign up to get more info about what is happening. So have a great day and enjoy the wines.
Cheers, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Cheers.